Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7fm.com. Here is the Z107.7 local news for Tuesday, May 6th, 2025. Joshua Tree is often thought of as the gateway to Joshua Tree National Park, and the small but busy unincorporated area supports a handful of successful businesses built on the backs of visitors who want to come out and experience the high desert. Now, some of those business owners are coming together to form a group that aims to create an even more cohesive business community in Joshua Tree. Picking up the story from here is online news editor Robert Hayden.
The Joshua Tree Association of Business and Culture, or JTABC, is a newly formed group that aims to support the business community of the 92252 zip code. This is Amanda Beheimer. She's the president of the JTABC and a holistic behavioral health practitioner, as well as the proprietor of Grateful Desert Apothecary, and has lived in Joshua Tree for 19 years.
A business league is a designation that allows businesses to come together to solve problems or, address issues or promote each other. Well, I think one of the first things, it's maybe not a problem, but I think one of the first things that's sort of been a desire for community members is to get to know each other, to learn more about each other, where they come from, sort of like what our own kind of personal goals and perspectives of life are. That's kind of the first part, I think. But this is really what we're hoping for, community feedback, to hear what each person's sort of like needs are, because there are a lot of different kinds of businesses in the Joshua Tree 92252.
The growth in Joshua Tree has been so just massive tidal wave over the last 10 or 12 years. And by and large, I think it's great. 10, 12 years ago, we were all pretty broke. And now most of my friends are running relatively successful businesses. And that makes me really happy. The disconnection of the community does bother me. I'd like to know who my neighbors are, who my fellow business owners are.
That's Seth Zaharias. He's the vice president of the JTABC and also the co-founder of Cliffhanger Guides. He's been living and working here in Joshua Tree for over 15 years.
To me, I really want to celebrate the culture of this unique community that's so much different than either 29 Palms or Yucca Valley or Morongo Valley for that matter. Joshua Tree is the heart of the Mojave. This is kind of where it all started. And there is a lot of really interesting folks here that do a lot of really interesting things. And we want to celebrate the culture of Joshua Tree.
Organizations of this sort of nature have attempted to come together over the years, and for whatever reasons have either sort of petered out or dissolved or something like that. So in some ways, it is something that's missing, but also not necessarily totally absent in the past. There isn't an organization like this right now happening right here.
Right here means businesses and nonprofits that are in the 92252 area code, and the board they have put together reflects that.
Our treasurer is Thomas Fallstrom, who's heavily involved in the Airbnb community. Our secretary is Melissa Grissy, who is the proprietor of Blue Sky Therapy. Susan Burnett, the proprietor of Mojave Sands Motel. Terry Taylor Castillo, who is the executive director for the Joshua Tree Retreat Center. And then Sarah Taylor, who is the co-proprietor of Country Kitchen. This is a really, really diverse and skilled board.
They're going to be holding their first mixer this Thursday, May 8th from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Joshua Tree Retreat Center. There'll be bingo, raffle, and live auction hosted by Z107.7's own Gary Dagneau. Here again is Seth.
We are hosting this friendraiser so that we can meet with our community, figure out what the needs of the community are, and then hopefully down the road be in a leadership role for the business community of the 92252 zip code.
You can meet the entire JTABC and join the mixer this Thursday at Friendship Hall in the Joshua Tree Retreat Center. We'll have a link at this story on our website, Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
The Wolf Walk, an annual fundraiser for the Joshua Tree No-Kill Shelter, raised a record-setting amount of money this weekend. The event was held on Saturday at its new location at Yucca Valley's Essig Park. The event is in its 11th year, and organizers say that their preliminary totals show more than $40,000 raised. The money will be used for the nonprofit organization's new building fund, helping to support ongoing facilities expansion. The Joshua Tree No-Kill Shelter estimates that their first brand new kennel building and an additional quarantine kennel building will be complete by this summer. The Wolf Walk is an event built around a procession of dogs and their owners. It brought hundreds of people and hundreds more dogs to Essig Park for raffles, food, and fun. The Joshua Tree No-Kill Shelter thanked all sponsors and volunteers for their contribution to the successful event. Rain has been hitting the dusty ground of the Morongo Basin over the last few days, and when that happens, a particular smell hits the air: creosote. On a recent episode of the Z107.7 Up Close show, host Gary Daigneault spoke with members of the Morongo Basin Conservation Association about creosote and other native plants. His guests were MBCA board members Arch McCullough, Lorraine Turk, and Stacy Doolittle. Annalise Kuiper joins us with a recap of their conversation.
When asked for the easiest plants to grow in this section of the Mojave Desert, a lively conversation ensued between the host and his guests.
Cactus are good.
Okay.
But
make sure it's native cactus.
Well, ideally, but
Yeah.
A lot of people also bring in exotic ones.
I've seen
from
big saguaros.
elsewhere. Yes.
Yeah.
But cactus will grow well out here. Well-drained soil is the secret there. But there's others. Brittlebush and Celia is a really good one too.
Beautiful flowers.
Pretty
Beautiful
easy to grow.
flowers.
And,
Yeah. Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. Yes.
And I've got to say, I mean, there are things we take for granted too. Creosote bush grows just about everywhere.
It's a
and
fantastic plant.
It really is a fantastic plant, and it blooms beautifully. This year it's especially nice, covered with yellow blossom. Creosote bush is actually very good at sequestering carbon, which is everybody cares about now because we like to pull carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere, and it actually deposits it under the soil. It's an underappreciated plant. With mature plants, the roots often can go down over 100 feet and reach groundwater, so that's why you'll see some in some areas that are green all year round.
And isn't there a creosote ring near Johnson Valley, which is like the oldest living thing on the planet or something like that?
Right. Well, you can quibble about oldest living thing. It's actually a clone.
It's not me.
Right.
I
Or
knew
me
there was a
either.
joke there.
It's the oldest part of the clone. The plant was established there over 10,000 years ago, and it's grown in a ring around that spot ever since. And they know that the plant's that old because they've done the carbon-14 studies on wood from inside the ring. Some plants, and Joshua trees are among them, will actually grow from the roots. So if the original plant is dying off, it will sometimes put new plants out from the roots. Well, they're genetically identical to the parent plant. And so with creosote bushes, this tends to grow in a ring that gets bigger and bigger as time goes on. And all the plants in the ring are genetically identical.
For more information on the Morongo Basin Conservation Association, visit www.mbconservation.org. For Z107.7 News, I'm Annalise Kuiper.
And finally, youth organizations in 29 Palms and Yucca Valley are both hosting separate food drives. On Saturday, the 29 Palms Youth Council, in partnership with Grocery Outlet, will host a community food drive. Food collected will be given to the Feed 29 Food Pantry, a vital resource for local families experiencing food insecurity. Community members are encouraged to donate non-perishable food items such as canned goods, pasta, rice, cereal, peanut butter, and jelly. The Youth Council will be at Grocery Outlet, located at 71722 29 Palms Highway in 29 Palms on Saturday from 8 a.m. to noon. And the town of Yucca Valley's Youth Commission is organizing a food drive of their own to help families who have been impacted by domestic violence. They will be collecting non-perishable food items and dry goods all month long, with everything collected going to Unity Home, a local nonprofit dedicated to providing shelter, advocacy, and support to survivors of domestic violence. Food collection boxes will be available at the Yucca Valley Community Center and the Yucca Valley Senior Center until May 31st. Community members are encouraged to contribute items such as canned foods, pasta, rice, cereal, and other shelf-stable goods. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@z1077fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.